Hi, it's Paul Sulzrud from Cooperative Network Services, and as part of our ongoing mission to help you bring more broadband to more rural places, today I wanted to share the updated broadband operations map, and this is brand new, and we've actually added a lot of features to this single operations map, where in the past we've had separate maps for maybe FCC or USDA programs. But now it's all combined into one, and our GIS team has done another fantastic job with really putting a ton of data in just one simple and interactive map. And so this is just a high-level overview. We will be having actually training videos and usage videos actually within the map once you purchase, if you choose to do so. What we're looking at here are actually, we've got a bunch of layers of data, and so just to go through briefly some of these, RDOF is on a lot of folks' minds at this point, and so we've got what's anticipated to potentially be the available census blocks for the RDOF based on that 25.3 speed threshold. And so we've highlighted every census block that meets that criteria within the entire country. And as we zoom in, we can start to see just how many there actually are at that 25.3 speed level. And if we zoom in far enough, we can actually see the census block ID and some of the stats about those blocks. And so we can see just how many households are in there, as well as the number of households per road mile. And so in this scenario, we've got 7 households, population of 13, and then 1.3 households per road mile. And so, as you can see, every census block that could be available is color-coded based on that density per road mile. And certainly the darker it is, the better the return on investment likely will be, just because there's more density per road mile, which is likely your route mile. So that data exists right now. We will be updating this as soon as the FCC releases the number of supported locations as well as that dollar amount, so you can actually use that to make specific plans for build out. But at this point, it's just a high level overview to get you an idea of which areas might be available. Now, we mapped every census block in the country that could possibly be available based on that speed, but we've also included all of the other layers, including the other FCC auction layers, the ACAM2 study areas, etc. And so just because a census block doesn't have 25.3 doesn't mean it's eligible. And so we've got all of the other data that you need to remove some of those census blocks that aren't available due to the funding from the other programs. And so in addition to using this for the RDOF, you can also use it just to identify which areas have funding from certain different programs. See the boundaries, you can see the census blocks for many of these programs. There's a straight census block layer, and so you can actually see the boundary of every census block in the entire country. And as you zoom in, we can see those appear. That's fully interactive. We can see the census block ID, the number of households and the population, etc. Further, there are editing tools, screening, and selection tools, and so we can actually grab a selection tool and select some of the census blocks that we're considering building to, and so we can see that we've selected 10. We can simply then export that, and that will include all of the census block data in terms of households, population, etc. In addition to really a lot of the FCC, the USDA funded blocks, whether that's some of the older programs, legacy programs, or the recent Reconnect data. And so we've got the Reconnect programs will show up as well for any recently awarded and even the areas that are protected due to the USD borrowing status. Included also, just for reference data, are all of the study areas in the entire country, and so you can see which provider serves which area, and this is also set up with a filter, and so you can actually filter off and on the type of provider. So if you're looking just for rate of return carriers, we can identify those quickly, or if you're looking for price cap carrier areas, we can find those as well. there's a lot of discussion about working between electric co-ops and telephone providers, so all of the electric boundaries are also included in case there's the opportunity for a partnership. The 477 data, now this is from the December release, and this is the most recently released data from the FCC. And as we zoom in, we can actually see all of that 477 data for the census blocks. And we can see everything that's been reported, so we can see who's providing. We can then see also what the 477 data actually contains in terms of that max upload and download speed. So we've got max up, max down. There are also reconnect boundaries included. Now this program is certainly kind of winding down at this point, but all of the 10.1 areas are shown here that may be of interest to you. Things like this can also be used to verify the accuracy of your 477 reporting. And so if you know that all of your areas should have at least in excess of 10.1, if any of the census blocks in your area are shown, that means that there's no 477 data for you in that area, and so you'll want to verify your 477 data. We've noticed that a lot of carriers are actually not completely correct in terms of the number of census blocks that they're reporting, and so that's important to address as well. The hub data is included where it's been collected from the FCC, and then there's this building footprints layer, and so with this we can actually see all of the structures actually in the country are drawn out in polygons on the map, and so we can start to use that for analysis as well. Rural broadband experiments. There's a ton of data here, and once you get used to using this, you can actually see that there's tons of different ways that we can find places to potentially construct to. We've also got deed layers showing in Minnesota the Office of Broadband Development's mapping. And further, there was one other item I wanted to share, and that is the fastest download speed. And so we mapped all of every census block based on the max available download speed. And so this gets to be a very busy map, but this is just another way to look at the 477 data in terms of what's the max speed that's advertised. And so red would indicate anything less than 10.1, blue indicates 10.1 to less than 25.3, green indicates 25.3 or greater. And so there's, like I said, a ton of data here. If you have any questions, please let us know. This is available as a subscription right on our website. So you can go in and you can either sign up on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis and have immediate access. You can use it as much or as little as you want. And like I said, there's extract features, etc. And as a reminder, we will be updating it for the final RDOF areas when that data comes out, as well as updating the actual 477 data when the next version is released. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you.